yeah. Beyond the vow, where the truth is real. Faith and love, yeah, that's the deal. WC and Maria, bringing that glow. Tuesday nights is the show you gotta know.
Love ain't a moment, it's a movement we found. Beyond the vows, where the real talk sounds. From single to married, decades deep. Together we rise, where the promise is key.
Lessons in laughter, faith in the mix. Every story a bond, every challenge a fix.
SKST,
Tune in, don't be late.
7 p.m.
Fan trip,
Let's elevate. So come vibe.
I'm sorry, I got this. So she's eating these mints, and I'm thinking the mints are strawberry, and the mints are cinnamon. You fooled me.
I knew I should eat it.
God. Anyway, welcome to another exciting, and I'm chewing this mint. This is horrible. Welcome Beyond the Vows. I'm going to say Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. Beyond the Vows. I'm your host, W.C. Brown, and this lovely creature, not a creature, because creature could be like really scary, but this wonderful vision of loveliness is my wife. You know what, our intro song, I just be wanting to do a line dance to it, you know. That's just the love, beauty and the vows. Don't you just feel like that? Make you feel you swell. Beauty and the vows. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We have so much fun every Tuesday night here at the SKST Radio Network and Podcast Studios located here in the city of Virginia Beach. Yes. So listen, if you want to write to us, you can write to us at Beyond the Vows, and you can send that to 5245. Is that right? 5245. Cleveland Street, Suite 209, Virginia Beach, Virginia 23462. And you can also email us at beyondthevows.sksttv@gmail.com. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right? So, got that out of the way. So, of course, we always talk about our sponsors, which is deafchildhope.org, deafchildhope.org. We say, as we say every week, go on that site, sponsor a child, let them know that they're appreciated, they're loved. These children are in poverty, and they also are deaf. So your sponsorship can help these kids change their lives. And I'm telling you, and then, they also give you the opportunity to go over to those countries. Right now, we have a kid in the Congo, and they're having this problem with Ebola right now. So that's not the best time for us to go over there. Yeah, we won't be, Kumi, we love you, but we won't be coming to see you right now. Anyway, and then also, I am been so excited. So y'all know I had hip surgery back in February, and I was introduced to one of the most amazing things that I've ever been introduced to, outside of being amazed by this lady right here, called the Super Patch. The Super Patch. Y'all can see that on the screen. See, the Super Patch. Okay? These patches are non-transdermal. They have no medicine in them. There's nothing, but a braille for the brain. And when they put it on me, I went from walking with a walker to riding my bike the next day. So listen, go to mwbrown.superpatch.com, mwbrown.superpatch.com, and you can see all about what these things. I mean, Freedom Patch, this is for pain. I got 3 of them for pain. We got Ignite. Let me tell you, somebody today at the pantry said, Mr. Brown, you've lost weight. Yes, I have with Ignite. And then we have Rocket, but I can't tell you on the air what this is for. Anyway, so that's beyond the vow. Anyway, again, mwbrown.superpatch.com. Honey, how you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I am. Absolutely.
You look delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Lips is all, So listen, we went on date night last week.
Mm-hmm.
And,
It was a surprise date night.
And it was surprised that, no, we planned it.
No.
Huh?
No, you said, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we planned it.
Yeah, we did.
We planned it. And she kept asking, where we going? Where we going? I said, don't worry about it. I got this. So I decided to take my honey to get a pedicure.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something. She got great feet. But those massage chairs in that place, good God Almighty, hey, glory. And you can't help but make noise when you're being massaged. And she's going, well, stop. You're making all the crazy noises.
I mean, the noises were so bad. I mean, it sounded like something was going on back there. So I was like, okay, all right, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah. So guys, do this that that was really, I thought that was I did well with that one. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do anything extravagant. Date night usually supposed to be for the two of you, but every now and then just what is it? Not patronize, pamper your honey. Get her nails done, get her feet done. Take her to get a massage, but at the right massage parlor, because some of these massage parlors you don't want to go do. But I thought that was a great date night.
Mm-hmm.
Taking you out there. And
Absolutely.
Then we went out to eat,
Mm-hmm.
and we had that taco dish was really great.
Oh God, yeah. It wasn't tacos; it was nachos.
Nachos. Oh my God, it was so good.
It was really good. It was, who was it? Chico's.
Chico's.
It was
Something.
really good.
Whatever.
And the pizza was too, even down to the dough.
Deep garlic crust.
Yeah, it was really. It was good. Light. It wasn't too heavy or anything like that. It was just absolutely fine.
So just do something nice. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be extravagant. Just spending time together. And we were talking earlier about. Anyway, tonight's subject. Go ahead. Tell what are we going to talk about tonight?
We're going to talking about disconnection and reconnection, because we know we're beyond the vows. We're talking about marriage. We're talking about couples. At some times we do disconnect. And so we want to talk about the reasons for the disconnect and how we can reconnect. Right.
And it says, disconnection in marriage really happens overnight.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen. It's not just a one-time thing. It's stuff that's been going on consistently.
It builds gradually.
Mm-hmm.
It
does. If I can read the definition of disconnect, it's breaking the connection or breaking something that's in between. And when you're broken, when you don't have a connection, just like in order for us to have light, we have to connect it to the source, right? Mm-hmm. And there are times in our marriage that we're not connected with the source.
Right.
That could be our spouse or whatever the case is. And there are plenty of reasons. We're not going to go through all of them, but we just named a few.
Yeah. And if you don't pay your bill, you get disconnected.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Yep.
So there's some reason why that we are disconnected. We're too busy. Distractions. That could be people, telephone. It could be work. It could be children. It could be a whole lot of things. Loss of interest in your spouse, arguments, not feeling heard, not communicating, and all of these can lead up to emotionally checking out of the relationship. And when it gets that way, I mean, what do we do? How are we going to handle this? And then how are we going to reconnect? Is it too late to reconnect? What is it that we should do?
Right. And then you have things like, and it's daily. We're talking daily, not just, not every other week or this, but we're talking about daily breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
Unaddressed emotional needs.
Yeah.
And persistent unresolved conflicts. You talk about external stresses like work and parenting and stuff like that.
Finances too can cause you
finances can cause
to disconnect
when you're not on the same page.
Right.
So
these things that causes us to disconnect. Why do you think, on a man's point of view, why does that disconnection happen?
Well, sometimes men can take the spouse for granted. Mm-hmm. They figure, you're married, you with me, you ain't going nowhere.
Oh wow.
And sometimes they end up treating them just like anyway, because they say, well, you love me unconditionally, so she's gonna deal with what I'm putting out. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always gonna be like that or should be like that. Mm-hmm. When you get to the point that you're no longer partners, but you're roommates. Roommates have no obligation to each other.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So are you married? Are you partners? Or are you roommates? Mm-hmm.
And I know from a woman's point of view, we can easily be emotionally checked out because we don't feel like we're being heard, or we also can take our husbands or spouses or partners for granted. Maybe we've gotten too busy or we've been distracted because somebody told us that we look cute. You know what I'm saying? Or different, a lot of things that can cause us to be emotionally detached from our spouse. But it's such a it's being disconnected can really ruin a relationship. Something that when you first get together, you talk about all the things you want to do, talk about building, you talk about creating things, and I don't want the same thing that happened in my family that happened in here, so I'm gonna break the curse or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
stuff like that. We talk about stuff like that, but then when the rubber meets the road, then we have this difficulty time, and we're not communicating, and we're not saying, hey, this is what I need, or whatever the case is, or even fear.
Yeah. When you stop sharing your emotions and vulnerabilities, then that's when that emotional distance, really begins to grow. So, like I said, there is a remarkable breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
Discussing things simply like doing chores or, like money and stuff like that, and just letting stuff fester like a sore.
Yeah.
And
then another thing too, Will, silence. Silence speaks more than us talking. Because silence says, okay, I don't want to be bothered with you. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be bothered. But, this disconnect we got to do something about this, couples.
Yeah.
We do. So let's not be too busy, not to care about the other person. I know for myself, and I'm gonna be totally honest, I'm gonna be very transparent tonight, because I want you all to hear my heart, and I want y'all to see me. I come from a very loving family. My parents, they've been together for over 40 some years. They're no longer here. So if anything has taught me something, they have taught me how to stay together, and how to fight for each other. And that is so important. And so I'm just determined in my own heart, to do the same thing for our marriage, But one thing, I had an opportunity to go to a bridal shower this past week, and all those women that were there was sharing some wonderful words of wisdom to the new bride. And it really opened up something on the inside of me. And I just began to cry because, women, sometimes we do take our men for granted, especially some of us that's been single forever, and all men all day, all year, or many years,
Mm.
and we're stuck in survivor mode. And then when we're asking God bless us with a spouse, bless us with a man that's going to take care of us, or whatever the case is. And then when God blesses us with that man, we still in that survival mode. And so sometimes we overthink. Sometimes we act like we are bigger and better, and that we can do this and we can do that. I mean, that's all grand, but when you got somebody there that can share the load,
Yes,
and we got to
yes.
start, we got to let go of the thing that we used to do when we were single. Because now that we are married, it's not one. I mean, it's not two, but it's one. So, that's one thing I was asking my coworker. I said, so what is it? What causes that disconnect? He said, hey, but sometimes people are just not interested in doing what they said that they would do. But I never want to get to that point in my marriage that I get like that with you, Will, because you mean more to me than anything else, and I never want to be able to do that. So, with me going to that bridal shower, it caused me to look at myself. I said, Maria, now there are some things about you that you're going to have to change, because if you don't change, these other things will follow, and that thing, girl, I question myself. I ain't gonna lie. I'm telling the truth. And I just thank God for, opening up my eyes so I can really, really see, because sometimes I can be super hypocritical. I really can be. But those are some things that God is doing on the inside of me, because I want him to, because I have a husband. I have a man. Do y'all know there's so many people out here that can't get a husband, that don't have a man, that don't have a wife? Why? Maybe because of how they act. Maybe because of they're stuck in their ways, or maybe because they don't want nobody telling them what to do. But when people come together in the marriage, you become one. So it's no longer about what you feel, or no longer about how he feels. It's what we feel.
Yeah. And it's really powerful. But you said that looking at yourself through that shower. But I want to warn some folk that when you're looking at somebody else and it causes you to question yourself, make sure it's something that's positive. Sometimes what we may be doing is correct, and what they may be doing is wrong. We may be saying, maybe I might try it that way, but don't start jumping in on everything.
Yeah,
you see it here. Like I said, my bishop back in the day, he said, "Reason between the airports." So listen, I wrote some stuff down. So here's something called the slow drift of stress.
Okay.
Slow drift of stress. So work demands, financial pressures, child rearing, that can consume all available energy.
Wow, that's true. Absolutely.
Available. So then when couples prioritize surviving daily life over nurturing their relationship, then that's when the partnership, the first thing, is you're done. When you prioritize what we have to do every day.
Right.
Got to pay the bills, got to get to work, got to get dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's all of that, and not take the time just to be, hey, listen, let's forget all that for time. Listen, now it's me and you time. And then you got lack of quality time. And these are all things, guys, that lead to disconnection, lack of quality time, and affection. Got to be affectionate. I mean, she's more affectionate than I am. And I want to be more affectionate than, her. Just like, she said, we need to kiss more and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We need to kiss more. So I'm kissing, I'll do more later, okay?
Oh my God!
But when there's a decline in physical touch, you just build up
resentment
and stuff, and then when it's time to be touched, you say, "Oh Lord, I don't feel like being touched."
Right.
And then it causes your partner to get attitude because I'm trying to touch you, you don't want to be touched, so forget you then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Continue of that disconnect. And here's something that you always talk about:
Okay.
unmet emotional needs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unmet emotional needs. That plays a big part of our lives, because I don't know about you, hun, but you know, if it's something that I need, honestly, sometimes I want him I want you to fill me out, you know, and you know, I need to fill him out. But I think that is a part of learning. That's why we have to communicate. You know, if I'm not feeling a certain way, and my husband comes and you know, and does something that I don't particularly like, I can't react in a crazy way. But I got to be able to talk with him and say, "Hey, babe, you know, at this point, I got so much on my mind, and can we do that later?" You know what I'm saying? Or can you think is that acceptable, Will?
Right. Because you don't ever want to feel like you're unloved or you're invisible, you know, or just any of those things.
Right. But you know what? Also, Will, sometimes the reason why we can be disconnected is because of hurt.
Hurt.
You know, because we could hurt each other. And y'all listen, I am not gonna lie, we are not perfect. None of us are. None of us are perfect beings. And you know, and yeah, we'll probably say something, we'll probably do something that get on each other's nerves. But you know what, y'all, we gotta stop hurting each other, and we're not each other's enemy. And that is so important for us to understand and know we're not each other's enemy, you know. But it really is time for us to come and reconnect.
Yeah, and you can point out when you feel like you've been wronged.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like you'll say something, and I may give you said, you would say, "Did I say something wrong?" You know, and that so learning to value each other, value each other's opinion. We talked about that whole thing about the other week about communication and letting your spouse talk, letting your partner talk, let them get it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then come back and say, okay, this is what I think you're saying. And we regurgitate what they said back to you. Or back, you know, to you. And then you say, yes, that's what I was saying, or no, you're missing the point, and then rehash it. Because if you can walk away without any dissension, any disagreements, and stuff, I mean, disagreements will come. But I'm saying when you're discussing things, you know, you want to separate. I ain't talking about love and separate, but leave that conversation satisfied.
Right.
You know, and if it's not satisfied, agree to come back at another time. Because if you see that conversation is not going anywhere, you can start beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, your horses. Then you have to be able to. Somebody's got to be able to say, "Hey, listen, we're really not getting anywhere, but don't do it with the attitude."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't listening to me.
Right.
I won't talk no more.
Right.
No, say, babe. Yeah, and when you say words like babe, honey, love, lumber lump, you know, that kind of stuff. Lumber lump. I don't know. I just can't remember that. Y'all can Google that. Lumber lump. You know, sometimes that has a mellowing what it is you have to say.
Yeah.
Because you're giving an affection to an issue.
Right.
Which softens the blow.
Right. Well, can I say something? Yeah. There was, I don't know how long ago it was. I don't know, maybe it could have been a month or so, not sure. So my husband and I, we were talking, and I think that we had a disagreement. And so you know what my husband did, which I thought was amazing. He said, "Maria, I have to pray. I will talk to you." Oh my God. Y'all, oh my God. And that, oh my God, when he said that he had to go pray, oh, that touched my heart so much. And I thought so much of him when he said that. That meant so much to me. And I was like, oh man. You know, because it's not easy when you're upset to say, you know what, hold on. Before I say anything else, let me back off. Let me go pray or whatever. But I thought that was the most sweetest thing
it worked.
That he did, and I'm telling you, it blessed me so much, and it helped me to see him differently. That's why it's so important, babe. I'm telling you, it's just so important, y'all, that we just gotta do what you gotta do. This disconnection gotta stop, because the disconnection, it could leak over into our children.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be disconnected to us, and we're wondering what's going on. It's because we brought it on. So y'all, we really gotta really check ourselves, and to make sure that we don't leak disconnect on our children, and our families and everything, and that we do all that we got to do to stay connected. That is so important. But I love that prayer thing, because that really was effective. And then when we did come back together, it wasn't even an argument.
Right.
At all.
Right. One thing that's really important is, and this goes back to this, don't let everybody know that y'all disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
You're out in public, and like for church is the prime example.
Church is a prime example.
If there's a husband and a wife,
uh-huh.
and they're in church, and there's some people that can pick up on if a husband and wife has had an argument,
Mm-hmm.
And for you and I, I'm the musician,
Mm-hmm.
you're the worship leader,
Mm-hmm.
and if we just sitting there, looking at each other, and especially if we're going to do like that, people are always watching.
You never know who's watching.
Yeah, so we end up bringing other folk in our mess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not mess, but in our disconnection, our dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I really believe that you got to start. I don't, writing things down may sound very elementary,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times you may forget what's something that you want to say or something that needs to be said. And I know for me, because every time I may get a little case of all the timers, So I just think when you start to see patterns, is to address those patterns or just write them down. Because when you can see patterns that will lead to disconnection, I believe in my heart of hearts that's the first step to rebuilding what's been disconnected.
So you're saying that when you see patterns that will cause division.
Uh-huh.
What else was you saying?
Well, I'm saying when you see things that are causing the disconnection,
Mm-hmm.
when life is getting too much in the way,
Mm-hmm.
Or when you argue about the same thing all the time,
Mm-hmm.
Or you're so busy doing this and doing that, and when you see it, say, listen, you know what? You spend a lot of time doing this, that, and the other, or we spend too much time doing this. When you start seeing a problem,
Gotcha.
That's when you can start the healing,
Mm-hmm.
or working towards the healing.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, that's really good, Will. So
I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back to that.
Talk about that
after the break.
Sounds
so
good.
We'll be right back with Beyond the Vows, and we're talking about disconnection. But don't forget, we on the flip side, we're going to talk about how to reconnect. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to our show, Beyond the Vows, W.C. Brown and Maria Brown. Oh, yeah, forgot to say, I'm sporting my New York Knicks hat. 27 years we've been waiting to get into the finals. So the finals start on Wednesday, June 3rd. Yes. But you know them tickets are like $4,000. in the nosebleeds.
Well, we ain't going.
I
Even if we had the $4 grand, we still ain't
yeah,
going.
I don't know why
That's crazy.
why they want to treat us like that. Those of us that been Knicks fans when they were scrubs now can't even afford it.
We can watch it on TV and tell the Lord thank you, because that $4 grand.
Yeah, and I know you had something that you want to say, but that's another thing that sometimes I don't know can when it's done a lot can cause disconnection. You already know I love football, I love basketball, and one night it was Game 4. If the Knicks won, that means they swept the series. And you were like, so do you have to watch the game? And in my mind going, please don't ask me that. It's been since 1999 since we've been in this position. Please don't ask me that.
But who's more important?
See, you know, so some things only happen once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, and that was good. But anyway, go.
But honestly, though, for real, I mean, I didn't really mind you watching the game. You know, it's just long as there's a balance, you know, because that's important. I know for women, having that balance is really important because if you are just like me, work, come home, and a lot of times, y'all, I have not had to cook. Praise God, because He would do the cooking, so that's a blessing. So I'm blessed for that, you know. But then there's sometimes I just want to be with my man. You know, I don't want nothing to disturb. I'm in a home. I love my babies. I love our kids, but don't call. We'll talk to you in like 3 days. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really want to say, you know, because sometimes I really miss my time with him. And I always say, babe, I miss my time with you. It's not always sex. It's not always intimacy, but I want to feel that closeness, you know, and that is something that you never want to lose is that closeness, you know. I don't care if we're in bed looking at TV together, whatever, he holding my hand or whatever, or I'm in his arms and he's in mine, you know, just that closeness, you know, because I'm telling you all that the world has so much evilness to offer and so much temptations is all around, y'all. Y'all already know. But I'm telling you, when you close and when you stay close to the one that God has given to you to be your spouse, the one that you promised that you would be here through thick and through thin, you know, through the good and the bad, you got to start thinking about that, Will, because when we go through the bad stuff, what are we gonna stick or are we gonna leave? Because guess what? None of us are perfect. None of us are. You know, we make mistakes. We say stuff out of my mouth that we shouldn't say, that we have to end up apologizing all of the time. And then we go this vicious cycle all the time. When is that going to stop? You know, somebody has got to be bold enough to say, you know what, it ends here. You know, and I'm going to love you till the wheels fall off. Okay?
Right.
I'm going to be there for you till the wheels fall off.
And you know, and you got to be able to pick up on signals.
Yeah.
You know, and there are signals of disconnection.
Like what? Give me an example.
Or feeling disconnect. Like for instance, sometimes men, we are just as dumb as thumbtack on concrete. Like I could be in the bed and I'm really tired from a long day. And this one here, you know, she won't say nothing. But next thing I know, first thing she says is, "Good night, Will." I said, "Oh, Lord."
I do that.
Or she goes, "Are you asleep?" I said, "No, I ain't asleep. Well, you were snoring." "Oh, no, I won't. Never mind. You know. So then I had to go into a different gear. That's why I got Rocket anyway. So, but recognizing the sign, and that's why it's really important to be very sensitive to your partner. Very, very, very sensitive, and know those, just like as with PTSD, know those triggers, you know, that will bring adverse reactions to various things. So, but listen, I want y'all to write something down. Write down actionable exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Actionable exercises to help initiate meaningful conversations.
Okay, so this is the act of reconnecting.
Right. All this is the act of reconnection.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I read what that
Yeah.
reconnection
Read,
is?
baby. Read, baby. Read.
Okay. While we was on a little break, I had to go and get that. Okay, so reconnecting in a relationship means is intentionally rebuilding emotional intimacy, trust, and physical closeness after a period of time of distance, drifting apart, or conflict. All right. It shifts a partnership from simply coexisting or functioning as a roommate to actively engaging,
Mhm.
understanding, and valuing one another.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what's been missing, you guys. We forget to engage, we forget to value each other, we forget to be loving and to be close to, be close to the one you love. We forget about
Yeah,
that.
we do. We do. And other actionable things, we always talk about counseling.
Yeah.
That's
Always a good thing.
couples counseling
Yeah.
is, what I'm saying? You just don't have to do it when things are bad.
Right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
If you found something that works, continue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How can we? Everything can get better.
It can, but the
You
thing
know what I'm
about
saying?
it is, what are we gonna do when things blow up? What it's really what we do with it, So I just believe just like this. Whenever things go crazy, whenever things go disarray, I do just like I told y'all that my husband did. I go pray. And I ask God, please help me
Mhm.
word my mouth, help me to not be harsh in my speaking or in my talking, so that whatever I'm conveying to my husband, I want him to be able to receive it with love. I need to be able to give it with love, even if I'm hurt, even if I'm disappointed, even if I'm
Mhm.
frustrated. I want to be able to give him what I'm feeling in love, so that he'll be able to understand, and vice versa.
Right. Exactly. So basically, there's some things that you can do.
Mhm.
Now, we're not experts, but I really believe these things can work. And some of the things are really simple.
Mhm.
Prioritize 10 minutes a day.
I need more than 10
No.
minutes.
Listen to me. Prioritize 10 minutes
Okay.
of screen free, undisturbed time together every day.
So
You
will the
start
10
little. You
minutes,
start. I'm just saying.
the 10 minutes will
You
lead
start,
to a longer time?
it can lead. Yeah, but you
Okay.
got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be realistic to say, "Hey, listen, let's take an hour." Especially if you got lives like we have.
But you know what, then, so, and I understand, because there are couples that have busy lives, they have businesses, and they have children, and God knows whatever else going on. But then that should be structured well.
Mhm.
It really, and hope that word structure don't sound bad, but it needs to be. Somebody's got to take the lead on that and say,
Mhm.
hey, we got to put these phones down. But I really do believe at a certain time of the night, they don't need to have nobody keep calling you, unless somebody in a
There's an
hospital or something.
emergency.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody needs their sleep.
yeah,
Everybody need their alone time.
yeah.
And even, I'm not gonna say all the time that him and I are always together all of the time, but he's an individual. I'm an individual. Sometimes I need my space. Sometimes he need his.
Right.
So even in those times, people should be mindful of calling you late at night, and then we don't have to answer the phone.
Yeah, because in our life, like she works during the day. I'm basically retired, but I work in radio and TV and stuff, and that's really not ever been a real 9 to 5 because there's always stuff going on. And when she's off on the weekend, I may have jobs to do, with sound, music, or all that kind of stuff. It's just trying to create that balance. Um, But you really have to start. You have to start somewhere. And another thing I think is really important is to be your spouse's cheerleader as opposed to their critic.
Mm-hmm.
Cheer them on. You know, I always say, so stop pointing out all the negative stuff. You know, you say something positive and you met with a negative. That can cause a kind of cringe. You know what I'm saying? So be your partner's cheerleader. You know, she always tells me, I see more in you than what you see in yourself. You know, and that's really, really been good. You know, and here's the other thing. Gently reintroduce physical attention to foster emotional safety. So I just like going real slow. You know, especially if y'all have been intimate for a long time. The worst thing to do is wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
That ain't.
You know what I'm saying? It should always be met with it, and then there should be your yearning for both of the people, the couples that to yearn to be touched, yearn to be kissed, yearn to be touched. You know what I'm saying? That should go both ways.
It should.
You know, it should be just one-sided,
Right.
where one person feels like I'm all, ooh, I feel mine for clip. You know, I want to, you know, and then the other one's like, you know what I'm saying? And it makes for exciting lovemaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Lord Jesus.
Glory. Oh, I'm sorry. We just had a flashback. So listen. So create daily connection rituals. Okay, like I said, put away the phones. Spend time together, just simply talking about your day, low stress activities.
I want to ask you a question. When you say be each other's cheerleader, can you give me an example?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I really like what you did today. You know, or as opposed to like for instance, if your spouse does something they haven't done in a long time, you know, rather than saying, you ain't done that in a long time, you know, accept what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But kiss you on the neck, you're like, he never, you know, like the commercial, it says, Jim, he's never had a second cup of coffee.
I don't know if I ever seen that. I don't know if I ever seen that.
It's a coffee commercial.
I don't think I've seen that.
Because they went to somebody's house and they had like either Maxwell House or something like that, and he asked for a second cup, and she's talking to her mind going, he never asked for a second cup.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
And then the movie Airplane, they use that.
Oh Lord!
But what I'm saying is point out the good things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the worst thing you do is, you know, meet a positive with a negative.
Right.
You know, then that person you have to shut them down.
Yeah.
You know, you have to shut them down. Like I said, and then rebuild emotional safety. So it's easier to weather storms when you give your partner the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. Fulfill small promises and be vulnerable about internal needs. You know, you use I feel statements. You know, I feel like you didn't. I feel like you didn't understand me, as opposed to you didn't understand me.
Okay.
You know, don't assume. Don't assume.
So I got exactly what you're saying. You're saying basically, and even when you want to tell your spouse what it is that has been irritating you, it's just the way you say it, and then the words that you use to say it. Yep. I got you.
It's always the way you say it. That way, it can be received in this. You know,
and the spirit is given.
If it's given raunchy, it's going to be received raunchy.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just like they always say about the golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you.
Yeah, well, you know what? There are going to be times, well, that, you know, in our lives that, and I'm sure when we have to really do think before we even speak. But even in saying, hey, babe, I felt la 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 the other day, it's still not to degrade anybody or make them feel bad. It's just to explain how the person feels, because everybody wants to be heard. I think you was talking about that to me. That's something that he learned in therapy. There are the three H's he's talking about when you're talking to
Oh
someone.
yeah,
Either you want to be helped,
hug,
you want to be hugged
heard,
or heard.
or help.
So I said that.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you was talking
I
over
want
me.
y'all to
When I
know
was
she's good because
talking.
I'm rubbing her leg under this table and she's staying focused. You're good. Okay.
Yeah. But that's the point. And I wanted to say for us to reconnect, I am praying that all couples, if there was ever a disconnect, that you guys would really start to come together and understand who you have in front of you. And we have to learn how to value each other when you look into your spouse's eyes, remembering why you fell in love with them, remembering the first date, remember the first kiss, remember the first hug, or remember who said I love you. He said it, not me. He said it first. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You remember all of those things, and then we're not each other's enemy, y'all. And then even when we do have something that we don't agree with, it's just a way that we should come to each other, right? Babe?
Yeah.
It's just a way that we should. And I'm telling you, I know for myself, I have definitely grown because I'm telling y'all, oh my God, and I'm gonna be real about me. I've not always had the best attitude or always had the best way of doing things because I felt like, I got it, and I really didn't have it. So, and I'm being very vulnerable before everybody because I want y'all to understand that this is real, and I take my marriage and my relationship for real because this is what I ask God for, and this is what I have, that is before me, and I'm determined to make our marriage work, and that means I got to put in my part. I got to do the work for me. He's not responsible for what I got to do for me. I'm not responsible for what he has to do for him. He has whatever it is that Will has that he needs to work on. That's on him. And whatever I have to work on, that's on me. But at the end of the day, don't his me and my me, we're gonna be one. That's what it's going to take. So, sometimes you have to make up in your mind, make up in your heart that I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to sacrifice some things, and don't be afraid to sacrifice. And sacrifice doesn't mean self-denial. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. So, even if you got to sacrifice, so what? This is the love of your life,
Yep. And this is what we mean by going beyond the vows.
Yeah.
You have to do the work. But Maria, there's something that couples have really stopped doing.
And what's that?
And I can make that statement because I've heard from folks, okay, is y'all please just bring back the play and fun.
Oh, yeah.
Bring back the playing and the fun. Everything is not that serious.
That's true.
Well,
you know what? There are some people, and I can only speak for myself. There are some people that don't really know how to have fun like that.
Right.
I'm being honest, but if you are I don't want to say it like that. If you want to learn, ask your spouse, help me so that we can have fun. You know what I'm saying? And it's whatever you do. I ain't saying you got to do what we do, but only, whatever you and your spouse want to do. Why don't y'all talk to each other and say, hey, you want to do this? You want to play? You want to be Batman and Robin tonight? You know what I'm saying? Just little crazy stuff like that. I know you got some in your head. I know you're about to say something. Yes, he is. He about to go crazy already. I know it. I can hear him. He ain't got to say nothing, but I can hear him. I can hear him. Yep. What you about to say?
No, but I'm saying sometimes, share jokes. There's a lot of funny things online.
Yeah.
I send her crazy stuff
all the time.
And you can just get home and talk about it. how funny it was, board games and stuff like that. So then you want to prioritize physical touch. I can't stress that enough, to prioritize physical touch.
Come on, tell us what you mean, Will.
Just a little soft little touch. You walk past you, and smack you on the, as the Africans say, nanesh, smack you on the nanesh, or just a soft kiss on the neck or on the cheek, and the more you do that, man, it starts releasing them oxytocins, whatever that is, and then next thing you know, boy, it's on and popping.
Yeah.
But that going back to playing games. Okay, we're actually, one of these days we're going to talk about role play.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking the other day. Some role plays in real life are illegal.
Like what?
Like if I say I'm going to be a doctor and you be the nurse.
Oh Lord.
And then in a real life situation, doctors and nurses ain't supposed to be,
Oh yeah, okay.
doing that together.
Mm-hmm.
Or I told you I want to be a fireman,
Yeah.
and then you be on the ground. I can't breathe, and I'm the fireman. And I'm giving you mouth to mouth, and then from there it starts mouth to tongue, and you know what I'm saying. But a real fireman can't do that.
Right.
So that's something we want to talk about one day. These fantasies that we want, they're really in real life wrong. So is it wrong that we want to?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because we're mimicking something that is actually not supposed to be.
You said what?
We will be mimicking something that actually is not to be.
But
Or
that's
which is
the fun.
inappropriate.
But that's the fun of role playing in the marriage. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not
the better
real.
not to file whatever you do
Right.
in the bedroom is on you.
Right. But
You know.
it's not real because we're not real doctors or real nurses or real whatever. It's just a mere fact that I can take this time and I can have fun with my husband, or he can have fun with his wife, and that's what it's all about, because having fun with each other, just like it is when we were kids. And I know for myself, I love playing with the boys. I did, because I thought that they were fascinating. That they fascinated me. They really did. I mean, even though I had a brother, but he was a little brother. But I wanted to see what was the big boys doing. We would play football with them, and that fascinated me. And then and now when you play
Wait
football,
a minute, you play football?
yes. I'll never forget it. I played football in front of one of my neighbor's house. His name was Eric. What was his last name? Oh my God, his name was Eric. Eric Elliott. That's who it was. Eric Elliott. I used to play ball with him.
What's his name?
Eric Elliott. Whatever. Don't try that.
Okay.
Anyway, but I used to play with him. I used to play with his brother, and I mean all of it. And it was a lot of us that was in that particular cul-de-sac, and we would play football. And we had the
Did y'all
best
tackle
time.
and stuff?
Yeah.
They tackled the girls?
They tackled us like the big boys. Yeah. But see,
No funny stuff going on there.
No, because at that time, we were young, and we won't think about nobody touching our backside or anything.
Right.
We was just playing the game, the football, and we understood that that's what football does. That you have those tackles and you may be touching places that you never had before. But that wasn't that. But I was really fascinated with playing with the boys. And then as I got older, I realized that more boys became my friends than females. And a lot of our friends, there were times, even when I got into elementary school, not elementary school, high school, oh man, it was a whole lot of boys and girls that we would hang out together, and we became the bestest friends.
But y'all couldn't play football the same way.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Y'all had short.
We couldn't do that no more. No. But the thing about it is that we love each other for real, and that's how I drew such a good connection with men or with boys at that particular time. And I mean, man, and I all because I'm the oldest, right? And I didn't have an older brother, so I just felt like I missed that. So they were like big brothers to me.
Yep. So what we're telling you guys is to have fun.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Everybody wants to talk about how hard a relationship is. Or we got to discuss this. I mean, enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Life is short.
It is.
Every day people are passing away. And the worst thing to happen is to have that happen and to have things that are unsaid, unresolved. Because once that person is being viewed, ain't nothing you can say. It's over and done. That's why I tell people, give your spouse their flowers while they can smell them. Because when they're dead, onions smell just as sweet. Okay. So we've talked about disconnection
and reconnection
and the causes of disconnection. Again, it doesn't happen, overnight. It's something that can just begin to fester like a sore. And then when you peel that scab off, oh my God, it could be devastating.
It could be.
You know
Absolutely.
what? So then you put that salve, that Band-Aid just to smooth that scar out. That's when you really recognize, hey, listen, we have an issue. We have a problem. We don't talk like we used to do. We don't look at each other the way we used to do.
Right.
We don't touch each other the way that we used to do. What is the problem? And sit there and talk about it. And there's nothing like when you come together to talk about something that's going to save your marriage, save your relationship, not just with each other, but with everybody else that's around looking at you.
Right.
A lot of people look at
or look up to you.
They look up to you. You know what I'm saying? And if your relationship is jacked up, you could help destroy a lot of potential lives, And the other thing is, you ain't got to give everybody your advice. You know what I'm saying? Some people think they're so good that I'm gonna tell y'all what to do. No. And it's fun. How y'all feel about each other? You know what I'm saying? Especially if they come to you. So this has been great, honey. This has been a great conversation. And next week, we're going to have Apostle Sharon Wallace, who's going to be with us. And she's one of my partners in the food ministry. And she's going to be talking about why we must keep our vows and the importance of keeping the vows that we make, not to each other, but also to God and to others. So that's going to be a great time. And don't forget, tomorrow night, June 3rd, the Knicks are playing against San Antonio, and it's going to be a great series. And somebody said today, Knicks in 5. Well, that very well may be. But also don't forget, go to mwbrown.superpatch.com and check out these awesome patches that have changed our lives. mwbrown.superpatch.com, and you can order that. And don't forget, if you want to come by and if you're interested in doing a podcast, come to 5245 Cleveland Street, Suite 209, Virginia Beach, Virginia 23462. And you call 757-391-4352. Also, email us. We've been asking y'all to email us, and not enough people are emailing us. But email us at
beyondthevows.sksttv@gmail.com. And let me say it again, beyondthevows.sksttv@gmail.com.
I love when you say the M word, calm, your lips like, your lips just does something to me.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. Just make me speaking unknown to Shaka Zulu, Shaka Khan. Okay, I'm good now. Listen, thank you all so much for joining us. We really enjoy what we do. Again, like, we're not experts. we're just married. And not just married. We are married. Not just married. We are married. We are partners. We're not roommates. Okay? So don't forget, find out if there's disconnection and learn how to reconnect. Okay?
Reconnect.
We will see you again next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. here on Beyond the Vows. See ya.
Bye.
Some kind of way.